I would love to just dive in a little bit on what are the leadership skills and maybe even the choices that you've made that have contributed to where you are today. I mean, there's nobody in this country and maybe in the whole world that you haven't somehow touched through your leadership, I imagine.
Well, I certainly don't know about most powerful because there
Mhm.
are so many women around this world that I'm so inspired by and doing just truly amazing life-saving work, and some that I look to personally for mentoring and guidance, such as yourself. Reference our call just a few weeks ago. But what I do know is that from a very early age, I wanted to be in a leadership role one day. Having that clear goal so early allowed me to be very intentional about every decision I made along the way. But while that goal was clear, my path certainly was not linear. I didn't go to college right away. I worked instead, and I went as far as I could go professionally without a degree until ultimately I decided to pursue a degree in computer science. And this was definitely a defining moment for me in my career. But Julie, I like to say that computer science is my business love language because it taught me so much more than actual computer science. It taught me
Yeah.
valuable leadership skills. It taught me problem solving, collaboration, how to ask for help. It's also where I learned the art of storytelling. I'll add that joining Salesforce was another pivotal career choice that I made because before making that move, I'd been working in a different industry where I spent a lot of time trying to fit in with everyone else. And as you can imagine, that's
Banking of
so
like
exhausting. It's
it is
hard.
exhausting.
Yeah, and I feel like anyone listening can relate to that. I mean, I wore clear glasses, pulled my hair back in a bun. You know, I wore boxy business suits, and I was a young woman trying to do this, making myself look older and project and fit in with the stereotypical what I thought looked like in that industry. So I made the conscious decision to go to a company where I could bring and be my full self. And I think authenticity is such an important leadership quality, and it sometimes gets overlooked. And similar qualities like empathy and kindness, humility, these are qualities we often reserve for home, but these are essential qualities in the workplace.
Oh my God. I am so happy to hear you say this. I don't know if you've read her book, The First of Few, the Many, or seen Deepa Purushothaman. I'm probably screwing up her last name there, but she has this great analysis. After 23 years of working at Deloitte, she got sick. And the cost to women to have to fit into that box, it affects your health, and there's no way it can affect your productivity or how you show up. If you're constantly filtering who you are authentically with whatever you think you need to do or say to be in that environment.
So I could not agree more.
Yeah, well, isn't that beautiful that you're able to find the place to work and really thrive? And clearly you have just shot up the ladder and have everybody's deep trust. Was there an aha moment for you, either in your life even, that helped pave your path for you?
Absolutely. And I definitely want to go back to what I mentioned before about knowing I wanted to be a leader or a boss, as I called it back then. I definitely, when I was young,
Little
didn't
8-year-old
know it
Ebony
was called
boss.
leadership. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I certainly was that girl. So I actually call this my Mary Tyler Moore moment. I used to love that show when she threw up that hat and she was circling around. Loved it because I would take the bus downtown to my mom's office after school every single day. And I remember loving everything about going into her office. I love the people, what they wore, their business suits, the briefcases. I love how they spoke to each other. I love the office supplies, the polycom, the furniture, everything. And I knew right then and there that I wanted to grow up and work in a big company in an office downtown. It was downtown San Francisco, the skyscrapers. I mean, I can picture it right now. And that's exactly where I am today. Now we have the biggest.
Yeah,
tallest
exactly.
office building. So I think, I mean, thank you. I mean, it's just amazing that I feel like I manifested some of that
Oh, that's so
at my young self.
beautiful. No. And boy, does that speak volumes for people who are, have daughters out there, giving your daughters a view into that is so powerful. Yay, mom.
Yes, my mom was critical. Also, her colleagues, her boss was really critical for that as well. He let me come into his office and would talk to me about it. So I really believe in the power of setting goals, writing them down. I have so many notebooks and sticky notes right here next to me, and just visualizing them and really being intentional about how I pursue my goals.
Well, and you said mentoring is one of your biggest priorities, and clearly
Yeah.
you're giving back in the way people gave to you. Your mom and your mom's boss. Clearly, you're trying to make sure other young women have that. You mentioned authenticity as part of one of, I would call it your superpower, but I would love to hear a little bit more about how you lead. Our organization is How Women Lead, How Women Give, How Women Invest, How Women Inspires, this podcast. Let's talk about how you lead.
Sure. I feel like I try to be a very empathetic leader. I really try to tune in with what my team and our employees are experiencing so I can have a better understanding of what they might need to hear or what obstacles I can help remove so they can thrive in their roles. I feel like my role is to be that blocker to remove all of that for them so that they can really be successful. And I think one of the good things that came out of the pandemic is the humanity it brought to our work lives and in our relationships. You got a really good glimpse into people's lives, their homes, their partners, their kids, or what have you. And it just brought a different level of humanity that really connected us beyond our day to day work that we had been living, for decades, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also like to say, connect the dots and get out of the way. And I learned this from one of my mentors. And this is something that I really like to live by. When you hire great people, you need to give them the room to use their superpowers.
Yeah.
So, this is something I like to really keep close and try to live by and lead by. Connect the dots, get out of the way.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, anyone who's working with you is very lucky. You are also super generous. You're on the board of the Warriors Foundation. You lead the foundation for Salesforce. How do you think about giving? How do you give yourself?
Well, something I've always believed, and Salesforce believes too, is the need to go beyond the check. Sometimes when we think of giving, we think of monetarily. And I just don't think that's the way this generation gives anymore. So giving money is great, but one of the most valuable gifts that you can give is the gift of your time. Listening, giving advice, making connections, opening the doors. Actions like this really take your giving to the next level. And mentoring, as you mentioned, is where I give most of my time. And that's because I've been fortunate to have so many amazing mentors throughout my own career. And this is my way, my very small way of paying it forward. And I often say that my next job will be Chief Mentoring Officer because I just love it. So if anyone is looking for a Chief Mentoring Officer, let me know. Or if
Yeah,
you think
add that to
about,
your long list of boards.
oh, or if you think it's a great idea, make one in your company. I think that mentoring is, a really great way of keeping great talent around in your company. And I do something within Salesforce. I call it mentor moments. And it was a way to scale myself. And whenever I talk about mentoring, people will ask me to be their mentor.
Right.
And I used to be able to do one-on-one mentoring. And now I have this collective of mentoring that every other month we just get together as a big group. And I've been doing it for years now. And so
Oh,
we've
fabulous.
seen people like be promoted and they come and we bring our messes and our successes, and it's a confidential group. And I'm just amazed that we've been able to keep this group together for so long and support each other. And when people move on, they want to stay connected. So I do it every other month because one month I do it internally and the next month I do it externally. And so it's a really nice way that I'm able to just stay connected with people. And I just love it so much. So
Oh,
that's
that's
how I
like
give.
mentoring 3.0. That's fantastic. You and I have a friend, her name's Mary Stutz, and she wrote a book called The
Yes.
Missing Mentor, right? And
Yes.
She interviewed me for her book in like 2004, and one of the things we found is not enough women were mentoring. We don't have we Women were saying they didn't have the time, but you clearly have prioritized this and figured out a way to manage the time constraint, right? So that's
I-
fantastic.
I'll just add that selfishly, I mean, they think I'm helping them.
Right.
Selfishly, they are helping me. It is the high point of my day. I end with a smile and just gratitude in my heart, and just everything that they bring. It just is it's so amazing just to be with them for just a short period of time.
Well,
It's just
especially if you're
it's a
having a tough
productivity
day.
boost for me.